Today we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing integers. This should also be a review from last year. When we are multiplying integers, we know that multiplication is very similar to addition, and we can use repeated addition to solve a multiplication fact. Visually, using a number line, we're going to solve 3 times 2 using repeated addition. And so just like in previous lessons, we're going to start at 0 and add 2 3 times. Because if we wrote this out with repeated addition, it would look like this. 2 times 2 times 2, which is the same as 3 groups of 2 or 3 times 2. So we're going to jump 2 spots using arrows like this. And we're adding 2 each time. So this is showing you visually using a number line how to multiply integers using repeated addition. So our answer, we end up on 6, and we all know that 3 times 2 is also 6. Now, if you are asked to use repeated addition using a negative number, so if we change this to 3 times negative 2, we would do the same exact thing, except instead of adding positive 2, we would add negative 2. And so starting at 0, we would go 2 spots in the negative direction, and this would be negative 2, and we would continue. So we would have 3 times, and our answer would end up at negative 6. And so looking at that work, you can see when we had a positive and a positive, our answer was positive 6. When we had a positive, which was 3 times negative 2, we ended up with negative 6. So keep that in mind as we go on to talk about the different rules for multiplying integers. If you have the same sign, so 5 times 5, we all know our facts, that's 25. Okay, it's 2 positive numbers, our answer is going to be 25. If we have 2 negative numbers, so the same sign, our answer is also going to be positive. So the rule for multiplying is same sign equals positive. This is another way to write out multiplication, and this, if you remember, is called an exponent, and the 5 is the base. So what this is saying is we're going to multiply 5 2 times. We have 2 groups of 5. So it's just another way of writing the same exact multiplication problem, and our answer is again 25. Now if we go back to our number line, this is what the rule that we just came up with is evident when we did 3 times positive 2, and we added the repeated addition and we got 6. Now let's look at what happened when we had a positive and a negative. We ended up at negative 6. So our rule, if we have different signs and we are multiplying, our answer is going to be negative. So negative 2 times positive 3, so we have a negative sign and a positive, 2 different signs, our answer is going to be negative, negative 6. Here, again, we have a positive times a negative, so our answer will be negative 6 again. For the last question, we have 3 right up against parentheses with a number in it. When you have this, this means multiplication. It is assumed that you multiply if you have a number right up against a parenthesis. And if you also remember, that's called the distributive property. So you are distributing the number outside the parentheses to the number inside. So here would be 3 times negative 4. So we have a positive times a negative. So our answer is going to be, according to our rule, different sign, negative, and then just do your fact. 3 times 4 is 12. So those are our rules for multiplying. Same sign equals positive, different sign equals negative. To show visually on a number line, you use repeated addition. Now let's go on to dividing. Wrong screen. All right, we're going to start visually again, but this time using counters. So use counters to find negative 15 divided by 3. So I start with 15 negative counters. Remember, negative counters are red. So I have 15 negative counters. If it was positive 15, I would start with 15 yellow counters. Now divided by 3. To visually show this, I'm going to break up the 15 counters into groups of 3. So 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. So I have 3 groups of 5. So my answer is going to be 5. Is it going to be positive or negative 5? Well, since I only have negative counters, there are 5 negative counters in each circle, so my answer is negative. Negative 5. So if we look at our rules for dividing, it's very similar to multiplying. Actually, it's exactly the same. If you have the same sign, your answer is going to be positive. So 12 divided by 4, 2 positive numbers, our answer will of course be positive. Positive 3. Negative 12 divided by negative 4 is going to again be positive 3. If we have different signs, like when we used our counters, we had a negative times a positive. You could see our answer is going to then be negative. So different sign equals a negative answer. Negative 12 divided by 4, so we have a negative and a positive, is going to be negative 3. This is another way that you might see a division question. Negative 56, remember the line means divided by 6. So how many times does 6 go into negative 56? 2 different signs, so our answer is negative 9. So make sure you have written down the rules for multiplying, the rules for dividing, and also how to use repeated addition on a number line, and how to visually show a division using counters. And now here are your on your own questions. For number 4, make sure you use repeated addition with a number line.